Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Monday, October 27th, a little after 6 o'clock in the evening, and this is our daily coverage for our YieldMax individual income funds. This is the $1 billion club is what we call it. CONY, MSTY, NVDY, and TSLY. So each day we'll go over the trades and holdings within the funds so you can keep an eye on your investment. As always, just a reminder, I'm on X too, at ETF_Inspector1, and I give you all kinds of heads up on when videos are coming out or if different ETFs make any announcements, anything like that. So let's take a look. It was a great day in the market. Nice to have something like that. So as you can see, everything we're going to talk about in this video was green. Coinbase up almost 2%. CONY not quite able to keep up. 1.68% of that was captured. MSTR strategy up 2.27. MSTY actually went up even more, 2.39. NVDY up 2.81%, with NVDY trailing behind at 2.01%. And finally, TSLY 4.31% increase. TSLY, that's decent to still keep up that much, 3.15%. All right, let's dig a little deeper. After 5:30, we're able to go download the intraday trades from YieldMax. This is one of the reasons we like them so much, because all the rest of the ETFs don't share with us their daily trades. They keep asking for the content creators to cover them, and we keep asking them to start sharing their trades, and they say no. So for now, YieldMax gets most of our attention. I'm going to go in alphabetical order. I like to start with the trades. So first off, CONY had a decent day trading, bringing in $9.2 million, but you're going to see that was all basically because they closed out a portion of their synthetic combo, selling the calls and buying to close the puts. Obviously, it was well in the money, so the puts only cost $650,000, while the calls brought in over $11 million. And so when they did that, they also had to close out the options that were weekly, that were associated with that, 1,500 contracts of a call spread. That actually was a debit, but overall came out to a $9 million credit. When we switch over and look at our holdings, we're not going to have any changes as far as increases or decreases in the holdings, because we made a Sunday video, the week look ahead and payment distribution guesstimate. So if you missed that video, it's right there. See, it's got week look ahead at the top. So all the changes that happened on Friday got picked up in that Sunday video. So they still have the synthetics at 300 and 390. So obviously they closed out the portion of the 300 because Coinbase closing at 361. So these numbers come from their holdings download, which doesn't come out till late tonight. So these were all as of the start of the day, or realistically the close on Friday. So the $300 synthetic was worth $103 million. Obviously that will increase since Coinbase was up nearly 2%. And the 390 was in the negative, looking to cost $63 million. It's out till December 19th though, and obviously again it's going to become less expensive to close out, not so far in the negative after an increase in coin today. There's $1.3 billion in assets under management before the day started, just over 200 million outstanding shares, and when the day started, the NAV was 656. Obviously, CONY increasing to 668 is a good day. This is one tough side of having a big up day. The calls that are sold for this week are at strikes of 350 and 355. They are now both in the money by 1.7 and 3.1%. As you saw in the trades, they didn't take any action necessarily to close these and adjust their strikes. They were just closing some synthetics and closing the associated number of calls to go with those. What else do we want to talk about? They paid 9.32 cents on their previous distribution, and the guesstimate that I made on Sunday was 8.5 cents. We'll find out on Wednesday the 29th how close I was. and they are selling 100% of the possible calls that they could be selling based on their number of synthetics. Again, don't forget Coinbase releases earnings this Thursday. Next, we'll go to MSTY. Similar scenario, but opposite results. So MSTY closing out their this is their middle synthetic, so it's not their highest strike and it's not their lowest strike. It's the one in the middle, but it's the complete closeout. So as you can see, extremely pricey because these were underwater, and then selling a new. So they adjusted from a November 21st 345 to a January 16th of next year 300. So the closeout, as you can see, costing around $171 million to close out. The opening of the new one it brought in, generally they're going to close to break even. In this case, bringing in around $9,000 or $9 million. And then they also closed 1,000 more contracts on the 350 synthetic and 1,000 sold calls to go with those. That's going to cost money as well. All in all, $168 million loss. So let's not even think about any kind of realized income for the week. We're going to be in the negative this week, and it'll all be return of capital regardless of what they pay based off of this week. That's not to say the announcement that you're going to get on Wednesday will be, because that's for last week's trading. This week's trading is just already shot for the start. All right, MSTY, like we said, we've got our holdings here, the center one here. That's why I've highlighted the orange to remind us this doesn't exist anymore. It's been changed to a $300 January 16th. So we still have a November 21st 330 that's underwater, 200 million, and a December 19th 350 that's underwater by about 170 million. Those are before today started, so with MSTR going up 2.25%, those will move in our favor, but they will still be well in the negative. All right, this one was nice. This has got some of what to do with why MSTY was able to capture all of the upward movement and then some, because even with that, their sold calls for the week are still out of the money, some pretty well out of the money. So they will be, will have moved up, obviously, in cost to close out since the underlying did. But some of these further out might not have moved up very much. We've got 80% of the possible calls sold, so there's still a chance for them to bring in some more income selling the other 20% of the calls that they could sell. So we may see that a little later on in the week, or we could see that if we get a real big move. Oh, never mind. So that's got the other day, because 20% of what was going up was uncapped. So that's going to help you go up as well. So 3.3 billion in assets under management, 282 million shares, just a little more than that. NAV at the start of the day, 1174, before closing out around 1201. They will also be declaring on Thursday the 30th. My guesstimate from Sunday's video, maybe it's low, 17 cents. Their most recent payment before that was 21.22 cents. I can't remember. I watched Retire on Dividends video, but I can't remember what his guesstimate was. So his will probably be closer. Okay, NVDY's next. Again, we're closing out some synthetic combo. This one is just a portion. It's not the complete thing. So this actually brought in a nice profit to close out the synthetic, and then they had to close out the call spread to go along with it. Cost a little bit, 800-ish thousand, but it didn't overcome the nearly 3.5 million there. So $3 million profit or credit on the options trading side of things. We look at our synthetics. We still have both of them. 11/21 expiration date on both, 165 and 170, doing very well, worth 116 and 70 million respectively. And then of course they will both have increased today with a nice increase with NVIDIA 2.8%. So those will be worth even more. 1.7 billion in assets under management at the start. 111,700,000 outstanding shares. The NAV, which is just how much a share of NVDY is actually worth, money divided by shares, was 1588 at the start of the day and closed at 1623, or around about. Like I said, Excel's not always perfect on getting those final pennies. We still got time, basically all the way out to when our synthetics expire before they're announcing earnings. My guesstimate was a big one here. So they paid 12 cents last time on their weekly. I guessed 25 cents based on their income and based on how much their synthetics worth. So we'll see how close I got on that guesstimate. Obviously, the big move today took their calls into the money. The first one, the 185, was already in the money at the start. But now everything they've got sold is in the money. They did not choose to take any action, so they're going to let some time value decay before they decide to close these out, it looks like. All right, and finally we have TSLY. I forgot to hide last week's trades, but there were no trades this week or today for TSLY, so we can just switch over to the holdings. They had an enormous increase, 4.3%. That's going to take half or more of their sold calls into the money. We'll come back to that in just a second. They've got synthetics at 415 and 420 expiring the 21st of next month. They were worth 33 and 17 million at the start of the day. Obviously, they will increase very nicely after that upward move. 1.2 billion in assets under management, just under 150 million outstanding shares. NAV at the start of the day, 825, closing around 852. We got last week they paid 16.5 cents per share. My guesstimate was about 14 cents this week. It could actually be a little higher, especially with them making the decision on Monday and having a huge move upwards. So maybe it'll be somewhere in that 14 to 16 range. As we can see, they've got calls sold at 437.50, 440, 447.50, and 450 that have all now gone into the money, anywhere from 0.5% to 3.3%. And then they do still have 3 calls sold, not 3 calls, right? And there's 6,000 calls, 3,600 and 3,000. So over 12,600 calls sold at 452.50, 455, and 457.50. But they are basically at the money, 0.5% and 1% out of the money. Did I say that part for all of them went in for NVDY? All of them were well out for MSTY. I couldn't remember if I went over that or not. All right, 1.2 billion in assets under management for TSLY, and we did say that, just under 150 million outstanding shares. Guesstimate we talked about, so I think that's just about everything. They did earnings last week, so we're past that hump, and we will expect to see the IV possibly drop a little bit if TSLY stops making huge swings. So that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching. I gotta find, there it is. I'm in the truck because my daughter's at soccer practice, so I got my dad joke with me. I pulled it off the calendar. So thanks for watching. Appreciate all the feedback, the likes and shares and everything. So here's your dad joke. What is the easiest way to get a squirrel to like you? Act like a nut. All right, thank you for watching. Have a good night and good luck trading tomorrow. Catch you in the next video.